Um, yeah, Angela and I connected about 10 minutes ago when she ducked out of a meeting. So she quickly made me boss of the session and then went back. Okay, so that's a minute before 6. We'll just chat for another minute or two here. Lynn, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. One of the things I was wondering if you could mention, it's probably not on the agenda, but you had sent out an email quite a while ago saying that there was an opportunity for a town council person to be a liaison to this
Yeah, that is one of the
committee.
things that we
That,
should discuss today.
we never followed up on it. I didn't know exactly what that meant.
Yeah. I don't think it's specified in the bylaw, but I think what we can do is we can rule, we can make this up. We can say that, among the professionals named to the committee would be a member of APAC, both as a full-fledged participant in the ad hoc committee, but also as a liaison back to APAC, because the work product of the ad hoc committee comes back to APAC on its way to the town manager.
Mhm. I thought the email that you had sent had more to do with a council member being part of this committee, or like that they would attend the meetings or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking,
Oh, okay.
is that the person we designate here from our group will also be will be a full member of the ad hoc committee.
Okay.
Can we ask for a specific person on the council?
On the council?
Yeah, who would be the liaison that Lynn is
I'm
talking
sorry.
about?
No, what I'm talking about is from the commission, one of us
Yeah, and
would be,
that's not what I was actually
oh, I'm
He's
asking.
sorry.
talking about what I was talking about.
Yeah,
Okay, I apologize. So the question really is, should a member of the town council be designated
as a liaison to our committee.
as a
That's what I thought
liaison?
your email was talking about.
I think it was. There was one talking about that.
Okay.
Mhm.
There's something that happened about it, and I don't remember, and I don't have my
We
file
u-
right.
we used to have Maureen, right? From the town. Wasn't she the one
don't
that
know.
was I thought her name was Maureen, the one that
Well,
had gone to
uh,
all the meetings and
there are a couple of liaison in play here. One
There.
would be a town councilor liaison to us, and the other would be a liaison to the HOC committee,
Right.
which is something we're kind of inventing.
hmm.
Lynn, what do you want to do about that?
I didn't know. I didn't know what the next step was. If we requested somebody to be part, and then my thought also was, if that's the direction you want to go in, can we pick a particular
I don't
person?
think, I don't think it would be appropriate for a member. Now, I'm
Maybe
not,
we should start the meeting.
yeah, okay,
Do
let's
that.
call the meeting to order. Hello, Terry.
Mhm.
Um,
Hi, everyone. How are we doing?
okay, how are you?
It's been meeting day, meeting.
Uh, you don't look
It's good
like
to
it.
see you all.
You look nice and fresh.
You're very sweet. Thank you.
Um, okay, so uh, let's finish up a little bit of um, jump ahead in the agenda that we were doing. We're trying to clarify our memories about an email that I sent um, speculating about a town councilor liaison?
Yep.
Okay. Um, I did ask, I did reply, maybe this was what I sent. I did reply to somebody from the town council who was contacting all of the committees to ask whether they wanted a liaison from the council. And I said, yes. We've been warned in the past, last year, for example, that we can ask, but there's no guarantee that we'll actually get somebody. So I haven't heard back after making that affirmative reply.
The same thing happened last year, if you remember. We tried
Mhm.
last year too, but we
Yeah.
didn't get a reply to that either.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that could be different now.
So the email is from May 8th, so that's
Yep.
it's a while ago. And it sounds like there's just something in the bylaws or something about a non-voting counselor liaison. And
Right.
it sounds like they're just asking, it's something that's an opportunity. And did we want to,
Yeah,
from Anna was the person who sent you the email asking if
yeah,
we wanted to.
yeah. Yeah, that's the same message we got last year.
Okay.
And the what we were told, I think it's probably in the email this year too, is that you can ask, but it's not guaranteed that somebody will be available and willing to do that.
You know, Tom, what I'm wondering is if we can ask ourselves for somebody personally, thank you. If we can ask somebody that we know to be a liaison. I mean, I think this gives us like the opportunity and the choice to do so. But what if we went out on our own and found liaisons to work with us? Because the town of Arlington has a number of liaisons with their art commission. They have a liaison with the library. They have the town works liaison. It's got like two or three
Hmm,
liaisons in there. So it might be
mhm,
that this gives us the opportunity to do
okay.
so, but
Oh, I see.
maybe we have to do the footwork to go ahead and
Yeah.
invite somebody to be our liaison.
Okay. Very, very good. Very good. Um, just to, and as part of this, I think it would not be appropriate in light of the Percent for Art project to ask one of the counselors to be a liaison because they will later be asked to vote on what we produce. So yeah, we can look at other departments and committees and um, people around, I'll say around town, by which I
Mhm.
mean library, potentially Bang Center, other town affiliate.
So I think what you're talking about is doing something instead of, I mean, it sounds
Yeah,
like what they're offering is specifically a counselor, but
yeah,
we would come back and say, we'd like a liaison, but not necessarily a town counselor.
yeah.
But I
Okay.
think we could
I could,
probably do that on our own in some ways because
yeah,
it depends on how you define the word liaison. And if
yeah.
it's not in the whole, I mean,
Hmm.
I'm sure you all can imagine different entities in town that it would be good to be able to call on somebody
Hmm.
from a
Hmm.
particular department or a particular other commission or council and
Yes,
like when we had Ellen come and visit,
yes,
that was really helpful to us.
yes, yes.
You
The
know,
Oh,
new,
so,
the
so
new
we could,
go ahead.
go ahead, Lynn.
the new director of the downtown stuff,
Oh
The
yeah.
bid
he,
district, yeah,
he would be
John
an,
Page?
yeah.
yeah.
Well, there are two ways to think about this. Well, there are at least two that this little head can think of at the moment. One is a standing liaison, somebody asked to attend every meeting
Mhm.
and hear everything, or we could reach out depending on what our agenda is and invite whomever we want.
I think that's really good, but we have to identify some of them.
Yeah. So
And
I think so. John from the bid would be good if our agenda were to be um, expansion of public art around town or exploration of what the bid might be willing to fund. or restoration of the art night, things like that.
And
Uh,
DPW might be good to have in sometimes too, to talk
Sure.
about installations and such.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I think I like the idea, and I agree that I was very pleased and encouraged by the quality of meeting that we had with Ellen. I think that was a real lift
It was.
for us.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'll take this minute too to just thank everybody who was so enthusiastically working on getting that work done for us at the council. The commission, that's the first really big thing that the commission has done in a long,
Mhm.
And you
and
guys did wonderfully. It was
and
very
it,
impressive.
it was just, like I said before, it wasn't a done deal. It was scary.
Mhm. Oh, it was a cliffhanger when it came down to
Yep.
that last vote.
It was.
Yeah, but and you did send us, Tom, that response that Ellen made from watching the council and her
Yeah.
notes.
Mhm.
That's really helpful too as a follow-up. So I'm glad
Yeah.
you sent it to us again.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see, I'm gonna try to share here.
And I'm curious to know when this is on the agenda tonight.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Okay. Let me.
Do we want to approve some minutes?
Yeah. Let's. So what I did was I went back. All right, this is the agenda. We won't get to all of it, but that's okay too. All right, let's go to minutes here. Okay, these are the minutes for May 12th. That was our rehearsal night.
Mhm.
And so what I just said, that the entire meeting was devoted to a run through rehearsal. Then went back through the slide deck just to pull out bullet points saying that these were our principal talking points. The full recording is available at et cetera, et cetera. So that's what I was proposing as minutes for that meeting.
Okay, I'll move to accept the minutes.
Seconded.
Second, all approving, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now I'll go to the minutes for these are the minutes for the meeting within a meeting. So this was the 19th. And so we did have, formally speaking, a meeting inside the town council meeting.
Mhm.
And so I'll explain that here.
Mhm.
And I noted that Terry participated via Zoom as an observer. I don't even know whether that's strictly necessary to put there, but let's honor Terry's time and
I was there.
yeah. Well, as okay, so again, I just repeated the talking points here. I mentioned that there were two motions to reduce the allocation, one to 100,000 and one to 200,000, and they both failed to pass. Consequently, the full sum of 250,000 as per the percent for art formula prevailed.
Yeah, I move to approve these minutes.
Okay,
I
second.
second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, these minutes pass also. Thank you very much. Okay, what I would like to do, okay, let me show you, let me share with you. I had sent this to you also. All of these were sent to you just before the meeting. This is no, wrong one, wrong one, wrong one. Minutes, okay.
That's the same one.
Yeah, I must have mislabeled something or overwritten.
What were you looking for?
I was looking for the text of the description for the percent for art. Oh, wait a second.
The project manager.
Yeah, that's right. For the project manager.
So project manager summary is on the fourth one.
Yeah. Okay, let me see.
The project manager was the last one on that list.
That was second to last
Yeah.
draft. Here's what
Good.
okay, so um the town's director of human resources asked me to send a description of the job duties, not a full job description, but just of the duties. And that we would come back later to fill out the full description. So I just wanted to share with you what I sent her. So here's a summary of it.
So can we just read it?
Yeah. Okay.
And can you send us this?
I did. Well, let
No,
you-
failed
was
to
in
get
the-
it across to you. I will send you this. Yes.
thank
Was
you.
it was I got it in the stuff that you sent today.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
it's in-
yeah.
it's
It
in
should be
that.
I think
there.
I've got it. I think I've got it too.
I don't, I guess I didn't see it. When things come in to me
Mhm.
at 5 or 10 minutes, 15 minutes before the meeting, I don't necessarily get a
Fair
chance
enough.
to see them or
Fair
read.
enough.
So if
Um,
you could, when you do
Mhm.
stuff like this, send us stuff at least a day ahead of time, maybe?
I will promise to do that. I've gotten
It would help
sloppy.
a lot to read ahead of time.
Yeah.
And in fact, I'd like to be able to print it out ahead of time.
Yeah.
So I can make notes and stuff.
Oh,
Thank you.
sure.
So, okay, let me look and see if I can find it. Oh, it's called Draft of Duties.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got it. Great, thank you. You don't have to send it to me or anymore if you already sent
Okay,
it.
but I will promise to send stuff 24 hours before though.
Yeah, and I think that if there's a piece like this that you would like to run, let us look at
Hmm.
before it goes to the town person,
Okay. Yeah.
because it's part of our duty to do that.
Hmm.
Tom, is there uh, part of this job description, is there something in here about, like, I don't even know what do you call it?
Okay. I think I'm blanking
Like the
again.
installation, like uh, I can't think of the word, the uncovering, the, I'm
Mm.
losing words here. It's been a long day.
Well,
Uh,
the,
so-
Like, is there
the actual installation fabrication of the item,
like, and also like the celebration part, like, uncovering it for the town. Is there,
veiling.
yeah, thank you. I could not think of the word unveiling to save my life. With this position, would that be part of that position description to have anything to do with the
Um,
unveiling, or is that something we
so
would do?
I apologize if I didn't hear the I don't think I heard all the comment you were making,
Oh, it was
Terry.
long. It was
Is
the
there
word
something
unveiling
missing?
was good. I was just wondering if this job description, if we need to add anything about the unveiling, the ceremony, the finishing of this project, be present at the unveiling, and I don't know, something like that in this position description.
Um,
And you
So
can
that-
conduct marketing and communications to the
I
project, but I was
suppose
wondering if there'd
I
be a
suppose
component
so,
about
because
that.
and I think an important implication of your question is, when do we decide that the person's work has actually concluded?
Exactly.
And so appearing, okay. Um, I'll just make myself a short note here to say, um,
Something about presence at the unveiling, and help with, the
Participation.
unveiling ceremony, something like that, maybe.
yeah,
Because you would want them to be there to like get their, kudos
Yeah.
and, bow. You're welcome. Thank you. And then
Yeah.
they go away.
yeah. Well, I think that's also a nice for their own resume
Mhm.
to be able to conclude and make some statements. So I'll script a sentence for that.
Don't we have another document that says project manager, $25,000, 10% of 250K?
I took the 20, yeah, it was up. I took the 25,000 off,
Yeah, that's good.
and
Good.
I was holding on to that until we get into the discussion. Um, was I wasn't 100% sure whether the whole 25,000 just becomes the fee to the project manager.
I was curious about that too.
Yeah,
Well, that's how we need to organize some way for us to be knowledgeable about that.
Yeah.
Because the description, the document I'm looking at that we had previously is a job description. It's like significant experience producing,
Okay,
experience.
all right, those are the qualifications. That's a step we haven't gotten to.
Yeah. When will we get to that and how will we get to that?
I don't know because I've not been through this before, so I'm not sure what their sequence is. But the email I got back after I sent this in was that, she would look at it and then we would get back in touch, develop a full job description. So what I will commit to is that I will share, I won't take this any farther on my own without first conferring with all of you.
Thank you.
And I
How
would get,
here's what I'm curious about. Lynn, excuse me. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, in terms of the compensation, I'm gonna guess that the town has a process for that. Whether they invoice at certain milestones of the project, or there's, but the town probably has a way to deal with that.
Yeah.
We probably don't have to figure that out.
Yeah, thank you. I was figuring that exactly, Lynn, that they would have their own practices. The, what I've noticed in the school, construction site, the school project website, they were partial payments to consultants, at various points, but those seem to be tied to actual milestones and not just, dates or time elapsed. So I think that's a good question,
We might
for
be
us to ask.
suggest
And
milestones or something.
yeah,
This is all stuff I think
I
project
don't think
manager
it
for the town would have
would,
information
as
about, Tom. I don't
doesn't
think we need
it-
to reinvent the wheel.
yeah, we don't need to reinvent the wheel, and I would certainly not expect that the consultant would get nothing until it's all finished, especially since this is going to, roll out over probably a year.
Can you scroll up a little bit?
This is the top. You want to see down below?
Yeah. Like after, yeah.
And see, we also have not figured out exactly how this process of calls to artists would work. RFQ followed by an RFP is one way to do it. Very likely the way, 2 rounds would be the way it would be done, but I don't think we really need to talk more about that.
And I think that the project manager would have experience in various contexts of doing that. And that's when we need that person
Yeah,
hired so that they can start to actually talking to us.
yeah.
I also think that part of that task falls to the advisory group, and that as we look at the people who may be part of that committee, like somebody from a museum or something who's had experience doing that sort of work. I think that, I mean, when I looked at the next steps that Paul had put together, it seemed like some of this falls to that advisory group to do.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and look, but I thought it was falling back on. But I think it's,
I still was thinking it's still a project manager with the
stepping back
town.
from it.
Mhm.
I think there's an overlap conceptually between what our role could be and what the advisory
Mhm.
group's role could be. And I think the process for making the calls, what that process and what the steps are and what the sequence is, that seems to me like something that isn't necessarily just one side or the other.
So Terry, what'd you say?
It's my understanding that the project manager for the town should be handling a lot of these business type
Yeah.
things, because
Right.
again, we are not employees, we are volunteers.
Mhm.
So in any other town, there's a project manager that takes care of the business stuff, and they tell us what to do. Oh, now is the time for you to review this. We need to pay
Mhm.
so and so. That's what they do.
Yeah,
So I'm curious, like I feel like I don't want you to waste a whole bunch of your time, Tom, that I think we can just figure it out if the project manager that we will
yeah,
be
I think
assigned
there
for this
is,
project will do some of this.
the way
Yeah.
the bylaw is written, I think, and I've said this in a number of settings, presumes too much that APAC will act like a project manager.
Yeah.
I think that dates
Nope.
back to the original bylaw where the money was under our control. And so the disbursement of it was in our hands. That doesn't apply more. So in my view, it should work the way you're saying, Terry, that a town manager working on the school project would be the one to prompt the questions, have we reached the milestone, and is it okay to go ahead and pay the consultant part of it?
I think that there's a lot more we need to know in terms of
Well,
a
but let's
timeline,
do this.
what's
Let's
going
see what,
on. Like what's going on with the Percent for Art Advisory Committee? What's going on with the town manager's role in or helping organize how this is going to proceed with the different entities all involved in it?
It also seems like, I mean, I have this next steps things in front of me, and it seems like a lot of the next steps, the town manager is really part of.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it seems like there's a lot of stuff that's in the works that needs to be collated so that we can see what the actual steps are and what this commission's role really is.
Hmm.
I bet Angela would have some information for us. Did Tom disappear?
It looks,
Where'd he go? Oh no.
uh-oh, what do we do without Tom?
Oh, we'll hang out.
Not back, right?
He'll come
We'll be right
back.
back. It's good
Well,
to
yeah,
see you
'cause
all.
we're still
Ah, there he is.
recording. It's still recording.
Yeah.
And there he
okay.
is.
There
I'm
he
back.
is.
There, okay, good.
I think it's useful for us to raise our questions here and now and to clarify for ourselves what we can.
It'd be nice to have a meeting with Tom. With Paul. Just like, yeah, just make an appointment with him. Just
Yeah,
call
okay.
Angela
Good.
and
Okay,
say,
I'll
hey,
do
the
that,
commissioners
and
would like to,
I'll
and you
look
don't have
for
to
a
go alone.
volunteer
Yeah,
to
ask
come
for
along with me
one of us or two of us to come
Um,
along to help.
Couldn't he visit
for
as
that.
a commission?
It's,
He's a busy
I
guy.
think that's
Well,
especially good.
he's busy, but this is a big, big project.
Yeah, that's right. Plus, we can save him some work also by
I have a feeling
Um,
that it's important to be proactive where these things will
clarifying some of these
Just-
questions.
That's exactly the word I
Yeah,
was thinking.
Lynn,
not
that's a
going
good
on.
point.
Okay, has my screen sharing dropped off?
Yeah,
Yep.
So one of the things in the next step says to establish a process for soliciting proposals for review and selecting projects with the assistance percentage for Art Advisory Committee. So that committee is clearly involved with,
yeah,
kind
but
of early on in some of the processes, it seems.
it seems to me that the first thing that we need to do is hire a project manager. Because that person is the person who's going to have had the experience in the real world
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
doing these kind of things already in other
Okay.
sites. Okay?
Well, one thing we might do would be to simplify, pull back on detail here, and to say instead something, create a process to solicit proposals from artists, and just sort of leave it at that.
I think that the project manager's job description is going to say they are responsible for suggesting to us, well, how that's done. And then we're a representative of the public that agrees or disagrees with how the project manager proposes something. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I'm not,
Well,
I'm really not sure.
Well, I think what in my mind, what helps is to keep in mind Paul Bockelman's role. And so we advise him, and so we can seek advice where we want, as we were saying earlier. We can point to the project manager, which we have established that will happen. Details of what we're discussing now. And then there's the question of the advisory committee should do, will expect to do, can reasonably do.
Yeah, I think that hiring the consultant and putting together the advisory committee probably should happen at the same time. Because
Mhm.
the advisory committee, it'd be nice if they had kind of coalesced a bit as this person's
Yeah,
coming in, sort of working with them,
well,
have,
you can imagine interviewing candidates um, for the project manager position, you would really want to be able to say something about something better than, oh, by the way, we'll also appoint an advisory committee. It'd be nice to say that that's taking place or has concluded.
we don't
Oh,
need them to be doing that with there's other stuff for them to do.
Yeah, and this is why all this has to get sorted out and lined up so that a professional person who is interested in the job recognizes that their professionalism has been honored.
yeah, exactly.
You can't just kind of go, oh, do this, see, prepare a written plan for the project, including budget and timeline. That's by itself confusing. It wouldn't be confusing to somebody who's done it, I'm sure. But in terms of it's just like, it's hard to talk
What
about.
do you think we should be saying instead?
I don't know. I haven't had enough time to read this and think about it.
Okay.
So I just think that, but just like Terry said, there are people who have done stuff like this already, and you agreed not to remake the wheel. And so we kind of need to start at the beginning and see, what are the timeline you mean in that part, the work of art, I think. But we need to know the timeline for the percent for advisory committees confirmation and, make when it's going to be made and how it's going to be made
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
when that will happen. I mean,
Yeah.
we exist and we'll, I guess, have some new members coming on, right?
Yes. But- so side note, um, I participated in Paul Bockelman's interview with two candidates for the open positions, uh, I think about a week ago. And there was a third candidate who had to cancel out at the last minute. And Angela said she would reschedule with that person. Paul is hoping to take recommendations to the town council at the end of June to fill the positions.
Is it still possible for somebody to,
Yeah, yeah, it is.
okay,
Mhm.
good to know.
Yep. Okay, I think so the Paul asked me to do two things. One was to start this process of a job description, and the other was to recommend members for the advisory committee. So maybe what we could do, if you're interested at this point, maybe for the balance of the meeting, would be to switch to looking at profiles, recommendations, nominations for that advisory committee, because it is conceivable that that could be acted on um, faster than the whole process of hiring the project manager.
Okay,
Okay. Okay. So let me instead open.
I'll just make one comment about a timeline is I don't think it would be out of line for us to come up with a scenario that we would picture that would, like, we'd like to have this committee organized and ready to have a meeting in September or October. We hope to
Yeah.
have somebody on and come up with some kind of a framework for what we see as, and then Paul could say that's possible or it's not possible, but it seems like
Yeah.
it helps put forward something.
Yeah,
That seems like a good idea.
yeah. Now, we did send him a proposed timeline, maybe as far back as a year ago. I'll take a look. He said he would look for that and review it. I'll look for it and send it to you.
So
We will,
how did you all discuss identifying the majority of professionals who work in the arts and fields such as, and that list?
okay, well, we haven't. Where that comes from is the wording of the bylaw, which is here. And
Yeah.
this committee shall include a majority of professionals who
Yeah.
work in the arts. And then it says also include key stakeholders, which of course is always a nebulous term, including but not limited to users of the proposed building,
Yeah.
whatever that, and neighbors of the project, other
Yeah,
members of the public.
Yeah, it can all be interpreted. So then it says potential nominees and it has actual names.
Yeah, because we'd come up before in this
Where
group
did that come up from?
with Amy Crowley, and I've
She was a
added,
former member.
yeah, and
Yep.
she's been nominated here in this group several times by Mikey.
Okay,
So again, these are potential. There are no decisions here.
okay.
I've added Lucia Monga, assistant professor of art, Amherst College. Lynn and I met with her informally last week. My view is that she looks very promising as a potential member. Her specialty in art is public art.
And
And
this is the person you talked about previously who was teaching?
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
It
that's
was
right.
her students that did the mural at the Bank Center.
Yeah,
okay.
That was her project.
All right, thanks for reminding me of that.
Yeah.
I have another nominee if you need one.
Well,
yeah.
I'm just concerned about how this is like a pretty important committee.
Right,
Mhm.
right. So,
How are
Liz,
we to decide if somebody is on it or not? Are they gonna be vetted somehow?
Well, that's what we're doing. That's what we're about now.
We
So
are?
one thing is to pull out nominees and put them in a list here, which we can then go on to vet.
Okay.
Or if there's a different way, you can suggest that we do it,
No, I just want to
Mhm.
make sure that we have a good wide-ranging idea about the possibilities of people for that committee
Yeah,
before we settle on something.
okay. Well, let's
Now,
do
let's
that
see
now.
I'd like to get to read credentials and stuff like that.
Okay, well, let's at least get if there are names or profiles. Names here, we've got names. These I would call profiles.
Do
Okay.
you
And
want
if
any
there,
more names or do you have enough names?
yeah, let's get them out on the table.
I
Okay,
and
don't
then
think we
let's,
have
decide.
enough
I've
names.
got one.
Yeah.
Liz Larson, she's the executive director now of the Amherst Historical, and she used
Yep.
to run the bid for a while.
Mhm.
And she was one of the assistants at the bid for probably 4 years.
Mhm.
yeah, she'd be great for this.
Liz
And
Larson.
these are people you've talked to about this?
No, I haven't talked to her about this specifically yet, but I will.
I think it'd be a good idea to know where they stand on this, at least in certain areas of what's at stake.
I think at
Okay.
this point, it's okay to put forth the names so we have a list to start with.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
and then we can go
Yeah.
from there.
Yeah, so I have a gentleman at Hampshire College. He's the art gallery director. I thought that he's kind of a younger man. His name is Lorenzo Conte, Conte. So, I mean, I have no idea if he would be interested at all, but I just thinking of people who I think would be good fits for this position.
I'm curious about the appropriateness of this in a public meeting.
What is your concern?
I just don't know that it's, I don't know if people's names are supposed to be used without their consent or having been talked to.
We're just giving potential, we're just finding potential nominees, not saying that we've selected them for good, just that we're coming up with names, right?
Okay, Terry, what was the name that you mentioned?
Lorenzo Conte, Conte. And he's the Hampshire College Art Gallery Director.
Okay, thank you.
I think in previous meetings, I've heard the art teacher from the high school, is it art teacher from the high school mentioned?
Which
don't-
one? There's 5.
Oh, well,
Becky knows them all.
yeah, I don't know.
There's
but-
Ben Sears, there's Jeff, Hannah Hartle. What's Jeff's last name? Hold on, I'll look him up.
Got him in a Rolodex.
Hold on. What's her name? Okay, I'll look him up.
While she's looking, what's the number of people on this advisory
That's,
committee?
that's not specified anywhere.
Because it says that in the note, it says this group has to be the majority of the membership.
Yeah,
So,
so I would
but-
think that if it were an 8-member committee, that 5 would be professionals.
but what's going to determine the number of people on the committee?
I think I would guess, as in all things, that would fall to Paul Bockelman. He would make the appointments
Okay,
and be responsible for the committee.
Okay. Sorry.
At a guess, I would say that this is a committee that would normally be, I'm thinking back to all the years in college administration, that it would be 8 or 10 people, not 12 or 15, and not 4 or 5. That's just my guess.
okay. Can you move up a little bit so we can read potential nominees of the other lists that you've
Yeah.
made?
Do you want to know the art teachers?
I don't, it's no help to me to know people's names without knowing
We're
who's
just
talking.
collecting names, though. This isn't anything final. I think this is just a dream list, and then we can go delve deeper in,
Is
But
this
how
a-
will we do that?
Is there an art teacher whose last name is Riley or first name Riley? That's what I remember hearing.
No, Elena Betke Brunswick is the photography teacher. Hannah Hartle is the sculpture and ceramics. Kristen Ripley is, no, I'm sorry, Elena is the photography. Kristen Ripley is the fiber arts. Ben Sears is he is foundations and printmaking. And Jeff Stoddard is painting and foundations. And I've taken every one of their classes and supported every single one of them.
Aw.
Which one would you like? I would think that it would be Jeff Stoddard.
Is that a
And
person
his last
who's
name
been
is,
with the school for a while? I mean,
yes, he's the head of the department.
Yep, heard his name.
Stauder, and he also teaches the art history class. Elena Betke is working on a project with her
Okay,
students
what
and
the question I think Dara's been asking,
oh,
after we toss out names, profiles, suggestions, I think we then would come back all of us as a group to narrow the list. As part of that, we might need to collect some background or even resumes.
Okay. Amy Crawley was in charge of the gallery space for APAC when she was a
Mhm.
member.
Okay,
And she also was the assistant, the vice president of the Amherst Historical Society, as well as
Mhm.
being an artist.
okay. A name I'd like to, put in the list is the registrar and curator of the UMass Modern Art Museum, and that's Jennifer Lynn. And I've made an appointment to meet with her next week on Wednesday at 5. And if any of you can also make the meeting at that time, I'd be very glad to have you come along.
So the 25th? Wednesday, the
The-
25th.
No, I think, let me check my email. I think I said it's either the 17th or the 18th. No, that's not right. That's this week, right?
Yeah.
That's now,
It-
yeah. Hey,
No, I could, if it's, I could probably meet her with you.
I need to know the date and the time.
okay. Okay, so that'd be Wednesday of next week, 5 o'clock Amherst, Amherst Coffee.
Okay.
Oh,
Anybody who'd like to come?
I'm afraid I'm not available. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So
Do that.
that's,
Okay, Lynn?
I could do that, yeah.
Okay.
I'm,
Dara, would Wednesday next week
I have
work?
to, I'm looking at a calendar just like
Yeah.
you.
Mhm.
So it's the 25th
Yes.
Yes.
at 5 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, thank you. That'd be great.
So Lynn said yes, and I can do it, and you can do it. Anybody else?
No.
I can't make it.
Okay, so I worked with Jennifer Lynn back in the late 90s when we were building the 5 colleges museums a collection database, and have a very high opinion of her from that. She's also been a member of APAC and a member of the Amherst Cultural uh, Council. And I've seen, I think, here and there in the APAC notes from many years past that she was involved in some joint efforts of the town and the university. I think with regard to Kendrick Park. So she's been involved. Anyhow, this is just an exploration, see whether we think she's suitable to join this list, not as a decision, but as a potential. Can people suggest anybody else in this professional category? you know, either people or profiles.
I need time to think about it.
Okay, fair enough. And then same question for the other nominees. One thing that occurs to me is that we probably want to be careful to represent both Fort River and Wildwood. No doubt that's in some ways that's the potential tension within the project. I think it'd be good to be careful about that.
I have a parent, Paris Boyce, who has three daughters in Fort River School. She's also she used to teach at South Amherst campus of Amherst High School when it was down in the South Amherst Common when I taught down there or when I worked down there.
Okay, how's her first name spelled?
Paris, Paris,
Oh, okay.
and Boyce is Boice. She's also one of the children's librarians at the Jones Library.
Okay.
So she's been a school teacher. She is a librarian and she has three kids at Fort River School. She has
Okay,
a
thank
first
you.
grader, a third grader, and I think a fifth or sixth. The sixth grader might be going to the middle school, or she could be fifth.
Mhm.
I'm not positive.
Can anybody think of a member of another town committee or department to put on the list for us to consider?
Eddie Startup, maybe?
What about one of the woman from that Bridges?
Ancestral Bridges?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they did their first exhibit with us at the Historical Society. Hold on.
Yeah, I did meet their director at the open house that Ancestral Bridges had back in May.
Is there someone that's on the town cultural committee that would be a good person to?
You mean the Cultural Council or?
I'm looking up Ancestral Bridges. Hold on.
Well, I can find the director's name. I do have.
Forgot her
business
name. I
card.
know.
Yeah. Cultural Council, those folks tend to have a very good idea of just sort of what's perking at small group or individual level around, you know, culturally around town, because that's the world to which they dole out grants.
Would it have been a consideration to like ask in a call of some kind if people are interested in being considered for these Advisory Committee?
Yeah, I suppose we can do that, definitely.
I mean, I don't trust my limited circle to necessarily
Yeah.
represent what is supposed, and I feel uncomfortable talking about people who haven't been talked to about being considered for something in a public meeting without their knowledge.
That's a good point.
If I just can't do it.
Okay, I can get with Angela tomorrow and get a page put up calling for people who are interested.
It's a great idea.
You even did it in the same way
With
where they
the
were
list
just,
you have, it would be, what were you calling them? The profiles,
Mm-hmm.
with the names of those kind of things. And I think I would really appreciate that because I would then feel like we were opening up the territory beyond our personal experience.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
you might be able to do like a 3-question, almost like when you apply to be on the Public Art Commission, if you
Yeah,
list 3 simple
exactly.
Yeah.
questions and then
Mm-hmm.
who's who, and then see who you want to invite to talk to or something.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll nominate myself to be on the committee if there's no one else who wants to do it, but
That's a great nomination. Thank you.
I agree.
I second that one.
Okay. I do too.
I third it.
Okay. There you go, Lynn.
There we go.
Okay. All right. So I will get with Angela tomorrow to make up a page. I will copy Lynn on a draft. I'll copy all of you on a draft for that,
Thank you.
Great.
and we'll get rolling that way.
That sounds great.
Sounds good to me.
Also, excuse me.
I said it sounds good to me.
Okay. Dara needs to leave now, and I think we've gotten as much done as we can. I did want to take a moment just to say thank you. Thank you very much to Terry and to Mikey for serving on the commission. Going to miss you both.
It's been my absolute pleasure to be here. I wish I
Okay.
could
Same here.
continue. Yeah,
Good.
Thank you.
Well,
I'll be down the street. I'll
I'll
be
be
in
here
the
Okay.
too.
historical societies
I'm
too.
not
Okay.
going anywhere.
okay. Thank you both. That's great.
I'll help
Okay.
wherever I can when I can.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do the same.
All right. Thanks. Okay. So can we get a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
And Mikey, you should second that.
I'm seconding it.
Okay. All in favor? Otherwise, we're going to sit here all night.
Bye.
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
thank you. I'll be back in touch, and I'll get my act together about the electronics here at home and about sharing things more proactively with everyone.
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Thank you, and good
Thank
night to
you.
everybody.
Good
Thanks
night.
all.
Night.
Good night.